Buenas noches. We are going to start right now, and I'm going to try to do a song, and I want you to sing with me. Can we do it? Yes! All right. I woke up this morning with my mind set on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind set on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind set on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Again. I woke up this morning with my mind set on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind set on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind set on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Woo! Thank you. It's my first time singing in public. All to honor Dr. Turner. Good evening and buenas noches. Welcome to DC's Light for Democracy gathering. My name is Advocacy, Chief of Programs at the League of Women Voters of the United States, and I am deeply honored to kick off this incredible event. I want to begin by thanking all of our amazing partners who made it tonight possible. Together, we are hosting 79 gatherings across the country. That is 79 communities coming together to shine a light on democracy. We are in great company tonight, and I'd like to acknowledge a few of our partners. Black Voters Matter, the Workers' Circle, the American Association of People with Disabilities, National Organization for Women, the American Federation of Teachers, Southern Poverty Law Center, Common Cause, National Council of Jewish Women, API Vote, Center for Common Ground, Declaration for American Democracy, Public Citizen, Defend the Vote, Fix Democracy First, Fourth Branch Action, Unitarian Universalists for Social Justice, Americans United for Separation of Church and State, People for the American Way, Planned Parenthood Action Fund, Transformative Justice Coalition, and Choose Democracy. Together, we're choosing to stand in community. Together, we stand in solidarity for the future of our country, for the strength of our democracy, and for the well-being of all people. This event is being live-streamed on our website at lwv.org. For those who are already tuning online, welcome. You're joining us here at the Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington, D.C. where we are surrounded by the energy of history, hope, and the power of collective action. We have an incredible lineup of speakers tonight, so I am excited to call in Niall Blas, our D&D organizer, who will guide us through this evening. Now, coming up. Let's go. Thank you all for being here, and let's make this a night to remember.
At night to fight for our democracy, right? So our first speaker is a dedicated advocate for democracy right here in our nation's capital, and Stauffer serves as the second vice president of the League of Women Voters of the District of Columbia, where she fights to amplify the voices of district residents in the fight for not just DC home rule, but for statehood and full representation.
Thank you, Niall. Good evening. Always important to know the facts. I'm excited to be here because I woke up this morning with my mind set on freedom for DC. I'm Ann Stauffer, Vice President of the League of Women Voters of the District of Columbia. I'm here to talk about democracy in DC. After decades of advocacy and protest, in 1974, Washington, D.C. elected its first mayor and city council in over 100 years. Since then, we have made a lot of progress despite having only limited local democracy. We have some of the strongest pro-voter laws, AAA rating financial management, large investments in health and public programs and education, and ambitious climate goals. Now, all of our progress is under threat. Congress still has exclusive jurisdiction over the District of Columbia. Members of Congress regularly try to pass laws that interfere with our right to govern ourselves, including one to force us to rename Black Lives Matter Plaza, where we are standing right now. So now members of Congress, whom we have never, ever been able to vote for, threaten to take away these rights by repealing, actually, our limited home rule. So they're threatening to repeal our home rule. Let's think about what that would mean. We lose our right to vote for our own government. There would be no mayor, DC council, elected attorney general, no advisory neighborhood commissions, no DC board of elections, no school board. All decisions would revert to Congress, to whatever structure they decided to use to control us in the District of Columbia. Let's be clear, overturning DC's home rule would erase representative government in the nation's capital, which is undemocratic and un-American. Say it with me. Undemocratic and un-American. Before we won the right to govern ourselves, a three-man commission ruled DC for almost 100 years. It controlled every aspect of the district, including policing, sanitation, health programs, licensing, traffic laws, environmental programs, you name it. And we had no access to the commissioners or the congressional committees making decisions about our everyday lives. It is critical to our health and safety here in DC that we protect our limited home rule. Our elected leaders understand us, they know what we need, and members of Congress don't, because they don't live here and they are not elected by us.
That's right. That's right.
So statehood is the remedy to the threats to our local democracy.
DC, not Canada!
And it would strengthen overall democracy in the U.S. 700,000 people of D.C. deserve to become full citizens of the U.S., equal to those who live in the other 50 states. And let's be clear, D.C. has been used as an example for policies that were then rolled out nationwide. Congress and the administration's desire to control D.C. directly is an ominous sign for our democracy. So if you live in one of the 50 states, please know that you have the power to help us. You have members of Congress. Tell them to leave D.C.'s home rule alone. Tell them to support a stronger democracy through statehood for D.C. And if you live in D.C., I bet you know people who live in the 50 states. Right, so you know people who live in the 50 states. You can talk to them about the threats we're facing. You can ask them to help protect our limited home rule. You can let them know how much we need them to support a stronger democracy by allowing us to become full citizens in the state of Washington, Douglas Commonwealth. So find a lead person, sign on to help, and thank you very much.
Next, we hear from a leader who is one of many at the forefront of protecting voting rights across the country. Maybe I'm a little biased, but it's Selena Stewart, the CEO of the League of Women Voters of the United States, an expert in democracy reform and a fierce advocate for ensuring that every vote counts, every single one. Let's give a warm welcome to Selena Stewart.
Hello, DC. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I just want to say thank you so much for coming out in solidarity. I don't care who's in that house, that little house behind us. We are the union. Are we? And when we come together, we can demand change. I believe that is what brings us all here tonight. Because we, as a union, we reject what is happening to federal workers right now. We reject what is happening to children and women all around this country. And we and showing up for damn town halls. We will fight the assault on democracy. We will fight for our rights in this country. We will continue to stand together. And I don't care who you voted for. We did not vote for this. So we are not going to sit idly by, twiddling our thumbs while this government tries to destroy our country. This is our country. And so we are not only coming together in a point of protest, but we are coming because we are hopeful for what is to come. We are hopeful that we, the people, will change this country and that we will come together and demand how we will be treated, the services that we will have in this country, and who will be protected, and that is all of us. So this tonight is hope in action. So I want to make sure that we know that tonight is not just one night. This is the beginning of activism until this regime is over. So join us not only tonight, but every single week as we are thinking through ways to show up and show out in this government so that we can take our democracy back. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we will see you on the other side.
So we said it once, but I'm going to say it again. For too long, D.C. has been denied full representation in government. And our next speaker is a board member of D.C. Votes, and not just a board member of D.C. Votes, but a professor at Howard, the illustrious Howard University, specializing in political law and constitutional law. I welcome to the podium next Professor Robinson Woodward Burns.
Thank you, Niall. Good evening. My name is Robinson Woodward Burns. I'm a member of the board of DC Vote, a political scientist at Howard, and maybe most importantly, I'm a DC native. I've lived here my whole life. I was born here without the vote, but I can promise you, in my lifetime, in our lifetime, we will get the vote here in DC. So let me talk to you about this problem. The problem is that DC lacks representation. We don't have full representation in the House. We don't have any members in the United States Senate, and so this makes us second-class citizens. And we pay the highest per capita tax rate in the country. We call that taxation without representation. Y'all know that. Right now, Congress is threatening to repeal the Home Rule Act, the only bit of government we have here in the District of Columbia, to take away our city council and our mayor. Because we're not a state, Donald Trump can command the DC National Guard just behind me, Lafayette Square. In 2020, he used the DC National Guard to tear gas Washingtonians. Donald Trump could take over the Metropolitan Police Department, which is what he's promised to do. And Congress just yesterday said that they would rename this plaza, Black Lives Matter Plaza, to take that name away, the one that we gave it. And so to Congress, this house is our house. I have a solution to this problem. It's statehood. It's the only solution to become the 51st state. I'm sorry, Canada, it's us. It is easy, and it can be done. Simple majority of Congress and the signature of the president. And I know that sounds really hard right now, but we were so close 4 years ago. Passed the House, only a few votes were in the Senate. These are dark times. We will get there again. We will get there soon. I promise you that. We will have equal rights to other citizens. There are 750,000 of us here. We will get the rights that citizens everywhere else in the United States have. I promise you. And so I was born here. I was born without the right to vote. But I promise you, in my life, we will get DC statehood. Thank you.
Statehood. I like a little bit of voting rights. So, democracy must be accessible for everyone, and our next speaker has dedicated her career to making that a reality. Maria Town is the CEO of the American Association of People with Disabilities, fighting for policies that ensure people with disabilities can fully participate not in civic life, not only civic life, but all aspects of life in this country. So let's welcome Maria Town.
Good evening. It may not be good what's happening on the Hill right now, but we are good together, am I right? So good evening, my name is Maria Town, and I serve as the President and CEO of the American Association of People with Disabilities. We are a national civil rights organization dedicated to increasing the political and economic power of the more than 70 million Americans with disabilities across this country. And key to that mission is creating greater opportunities for civic engagement to build the power of the disability vote and protecting and furthering a strong, accessible democracy. When we talk about the right to vote, it's really the right to have a choice. And people with disabilities don't take that for granted. Because even right now, often, our ability to choose where we live, how we learn, how we communicate, is taken away from us. How we travel, yes. I'm here in a rented scooter because the airlines broke my mobility aid a month ago. So the choice is deeply precious to us, and we will not allow that choice to be taken away from us. When we think about the power of that choice, again, it controls how police interact with someone who is having a mental health crisis, whether or not our sidewalks get fixed, or whether or not we have access to home and community-based services so that we can stay in communities and with the families that we love.
That's right.
When I think about what it means to have an inclusive democracy, one that is truly reflective of every aspect of American life, disabled people are at the center of that. Disabled people of color are at the center of that. Disabled people in congregate settings like jails, prisons, detention centers, and nursing homes are at the center of that. And so tonight, my call to action for all of you is not just to protect our democracy, but to grow it, to foster it, to strengthen it. Because we cannot go back, we must go forward, and together, no matter how we come together, in person, remotely, via text, or via sign language, together we win. Thank you.
So like you haven't seen a lot, but I don't want to see this, and I hope we fight against it. We have to welcome our next speaker, who is helping lead the charge to protect civil rights and justice. Maya Wiley is the president and CEO of the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, and nationally recognized advocate for democracy, racial, economic, all-ways justice and equity. Please give a warm welcome to Maya Wiley.
My people! Mi gente! All of us. We stand here because whose country? Our country! Whose house? Our house! Whose communities? Our communities! All of us. All of us. All of us. When I'm standing here, I am looking at America. And I mean it's all its beauty, in all its glory, in all its diversity, in all its commitment to equity, and in all we value about inclusion, which includes accessibility. because there are people trying to tell us right now, a president of the United States, that we are not e pluribus unum, that we are not one people, that we are not one country. Now ask yourself why. Why? Don't look at what I'm doing over here with your money. Look at all these people I'm telling you to hate. Don't look at why we're not paying attention to losing 67 souls in a tragic air accident. Blame people with disabilities. Don't look at what we're doing to your schools. Don't look at how we're coming for your schools. Blame black people. Don't look at what we're doing to your health care. Don't look at how we're going to make it harder for you to see a doctor when you're sick or get data and information about measles. Blame transgender people. When people blame, they're telling you not to look. And what they don't want us to see is that they are taking from every single American and open the piggy banks to the billionaires and telling us that the billionaires are going to get paid out of our pockets, out of our schools, out of our health care, out of our District of Columbia. So we're not here for anything other than the American ideals that we still have to reach. And anybody who tells us any one of us doesn't matter, anyone who tells us we don't need civil rights laws to protect us, anyone who tells us we don't need the right to vote, anyone who tells us we don't need to see data and we don't need to have agencies protect us, anyone who tells us that we are not an us is someone telling us they don't deserve to be over there. So tonight is the state of the people. Tonight is the state of all of us. And I say to you now what the civil rights movement has been saying since abolishing slavery. We won't go back. Can't turn us around. Can't turn us around. And this much we promise. We will win. Because we are the majority of this country. Thank you.
Protecting democracy requires aptitude and passion, which Maya has plenty of, but it also requires vigilance, advocacy, and collective action. Our next speaker is at the forefront of that kind of work. Darryl Lobban is the Senior Vice President of External Affairs at Common Cause, where he leads efforts to hold power accountable and expand democracy for all. Let's welcome Darryl.
Good evening, democracy defenders. My name is Darryl Lobban. I'm proud to represent the over 1.5 million members of Common Cause in every congressional district who are sick and tired of watching the daily assault on our democracy. And like Mama Fannie Lou Hamer once said, for 300 years we've given them time. And I've been tired so long, and now I am sick and tired of being sick and tired, and we want a change now. For more than half a century, we've been holding, at Common Cause, we've been holding power accountable, and I'm here to tell you, speaking truth to power, to this White House in this moment, is an act of patriotism. It is those who are silent and complicit are partisan. Those who rig our democracy and break our laws are partisan. And those members of Congress who are in that building tonight, sitting there and pretending that this is business as usual, they're the partisan ones. We have members of Congress not only on the right but also on the left who are more interested in winning than they are in justice. They're more interested in winning than about the poor in our nation, more interested in winning than preserving our democratic institutions. And we are here tonight to say, not on our watch. We see through the lies, the corruption, and the money that is destroying our politics. There's a billionaire named Elon Musk. And Elon Musk is the one calling the shots. And guess what? We didn't vote for Elon Musk. The Democrats didn't vote for Elon Musk. None of us voted for Elon Musk. And you know what? The crazy part of all this is, the only reason why we know about Elon Musk is because his companies are getting millions of dollars. Not only millions, but billions of our taxpayers' dollars. But we're not blind tonight. We know what's going on. He bought the president off. He's cutting off the benefits to us and our people. He's firing our veterans and giving money right back to himself. And he's already the richest man in the world. Elon Musk doesn't care about government efficiency. He's out to get rich, and he found a president that he can buy and control like a puppet. And the truth is also this: Congress is failing us in this moment. We've got to be real about that. While they sit there and send out press releases and tweets, they're not doing a damn thing to stop Donald Trump and Elon Musk. We need them to do more. And it's time we tell Congress there must be consequences when our leaders fail to represent our interests. That is their job to fight like hell to protect our democracy before it's too late. And we need to see them do more than TV appearances and tweets for them to keep their seats. You better believe Common Cause is here with you to simply say, it's time to put power back where it belongs, in the hands of the people and not in politicians. We are here to realize what our 16th president said, that a government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from this earth. Thank you. God bless you.
Democracy and working rights, workers' rights, economic rights go hand in hand. So I'm excited to invite our next speaker to the podium, Dan Maurer, who serves as the Government Affairs Director for the Communications Workers of America Union, where he advocates for labor rights and economic justice. Let's hear it for Dan.
Good evening, brothers, sisters, and family. Buenas noches, mis hermanos, hermanas, y familia. I know it's a dark night out here, but I'm feeling a lot of light. Being united with people from all walks of life, but who are united in their fights for justice. Whether that's justice in their home or their schools, their right to access public facilities, their right to health care, their right to breathe clean air, their right to vote. But I want to also send all of you who are in those different struggles a word of welcome. I feel compelled to, because the halls of power may be right behind us, but we're also sitting here right next to the House of Labor. And I think that our labor movement brings something special to this question of democracy, because that's what the labor movement is about, in our very essence.
That's right.
When you're on the job and the boss, and maybe a corrupt billionaire like Elon Musk or Donald Trump, maybe somebody else, wants to tell you what to do, is tell you exactly what the terms and conditions are of your employment. You're not going to get a living wage. You're not going to get health care. You're not going to be able to work in a safe workplace. And so we come together for democracy in the workplace to form a union. And we're going to come together, all of us together in the same way, to protect our democracy in this country. And one thing we know is that we've had fights in that struggle for many, many decades. A long time ago, it was the fight for a minimum wage and a 40-hour work week, the right to organize. We've got fights every day for workers to be safe and respected and treated with dignity, and to be able to live a productive and meaningful life. And we've got some new fights now upon us because of the folks in this building right behind me, because of the folks down in the Capitol. They've been firing people in direct violation of their contracts. They've been attacking grant programs that support workers. They're trying to come after our health care to pay for tax cuts for themselves. And by the way, they fired one of the members in violation of the law of the National Labor Relations Board, so that we can't fully enforce our rights there. But one thing we know about this, because remember, when I talked about this, I just mentioned the minimum wage. We literally didn't have a minimum wage in this country. They had kids working in the mines in this country. We've had a long history of fights, and we've got some new ones today, but we got a saying in the labor movement: when we fight, we win! When we fight, we win! When we fight, we win! All right, let's go fight, let's go win. Thank you.
It is 9:01. Events around the country and us as well are going to be holding a minute of silence. And then we are going to be followed by a prayer by Minister Anastasia from All Souls. Starting now.
Coming here tonight is a faithful act. Even when these lands were still colonies controlled by foreign empires, we were practicing democracy within our houses of faith. Democracy was the gift that came from our free church tradition, not a controlled church tradition, not a repressed church tradition, not a co-opted church tradition. Participating in democracy is ultimately a faithful act. My colleague, the Reverend Dr. Mark Morrison Reed, said the purpose of religious community is to unveil the bonds that bind each of us to each other. All religious and ethical traditions teach this message. Deists would say that we are all children of God, and thus we should greet each other as siblings in the great family of all souls. Atheists and humanists would say that we are connected by a kinship that springs from our common humanity. Buddhists would speak of interdependence and how compassion should be the manner with which we approach one another. These teachings are what we are ultimately accountable to, not a party, not a billionaire, and not a president. We build our civil society from these religious and ethical teachings that remind us that we are woven together in a great tapestry of sacred relationships. Our government is a reflection of this tapestry, Democracy is its truest political form. To disdain or destroy our civic body is to desecrate these religious and ethical teachings. And thus we must remember that people of goodwill will always move towards one another and towards the creation of communities that align with our highest vision and towards the call to be of service to one another. So let us be faithful in our hearts, in our minds, in our intentions, and in our actions. Faithful to the bonds that bind each of us to each other, bonds that find their fullest form in an active and accountable democracy, and in a civil society that is blessed because it is by, of, and for each and every one of us. May it be so in our country on this day and in the years to come. Amen.
Our climate, that's how moved I was. I was moved beyond words. Our climate crisis is also a democracy crisis. Justin Kwasa, our next speaker, serves as the Democracy Program Director for the League of Conservation Voters, working at the intersection of voting rights and environmental justice. Please welcome Justin.
All right, good evening, everyone. So my name is Justin Kwasa, and I'm from the League of Conservation Voters. And first, I just want to start off by saying that the environmental movement know that our democracy, as well as our planet, are both worth fighting for. So we know that no matter where you're from, what community you live in, we know that everybody wants communities that have clean air, clean water, free from pollution, and free from the effects of climate change. Yet we know that in our democracy, this isn't happening. Why is that, right? We know that the reality is that year after year, election after election, we see polluters spending millions of dollars attempting to take away power from the people. And we believe that this is the clearest sign that there is something wrong with our democracy. Now, even though our democracy might be down, we're not out. At LCV, we have a saying that you can't have a healthy environment without a healthy democracy. What that means is that none of these issues that we care about can be properly addressed if we don't have a democracy that is representative of the people. So with that in mind, we understand that now is the time that we must unite in order to make democracy work for us. So we must join together in solidarity across race, across class, across geography, across our own political ideologies. Do that in order to make sure that we are in this democracy. So we know that the fight to we also know that the issues here are different sides of the same coin. So we know that the fight for clean air will help improve the health and financial situations for millions of people that are uninsured. We understand that the fight to invest in renewable energy means clean, strong union jobs all across this country. We know that to fight the limits of climate change will save the lives from the fires and the droughts and the storms and the floods that create climate refugees all across this world. So right now, 16 blocks away, there's a guy that is addressing Congress in a hall of power. But this is the thing that we know, is that power does not reside there, it resides with us. It comes from us uniting at events like this, where we make sure that we give a positive view of our democracy and what we can all accomplish together. Our power comes from us, including our neighbors, our friends, our family, getting them out to vote, not every 4 years during the presidential election, but every single year in order to make sure that our communities are safe and secure. It comes from us mobilizing in town halls, and it comes from us mobilizing and staying our representatives in order to keep them accountable to representing us. And it comes from defending our civil servants that protect us in so many ways, both seen and unseen. If we do this, when we do this, we will finally see the promise that we've been working on for over 250 years. creating a government for the people, by the people. Thank you all.
So maybe I'm biased as a 20-something, but I think that young people are not just the future of our democracy, we are shaping it right now. We're the leaders of today, the leaders of tomorrow. And one proud young-ish person, I pay taxes now, so not so young, but from one young person to another, I'm so excited to welcome our next speaker, Marcus Batchelor, who serves as the National Political Director for People for the American Way, a D.C. native and longtime youth advocate. He's here to talk about the power that we have as people, as individuals, as workers, as everything that we are in this arena of civic engagement. Let's welcome Marcus.
All right. If I've got some fearless freedom fighters out here, let me hear you make some noise. If I got some pissed off patriots out here on the plaza, let me hear you make some noise. Now, no matter what the Congress says, if you're claiming this land now and forever as Black Lives Matter Plaza, let me hear you make some noise. The president is up on Capitol Hill trying to give the Congress and the nation his version of his progress report. But the people of America made a house call. And we already brought the progress report home. And it's F's across the board. F on the economy. F on democracy. F on healthcare. F on unity. F on international affairs. F, you Donald. We're here to say that even after 6 weeks, we can see very clearly the president's attack on freedom, on justice, on democracy. And for all of those out there somehow still shocked by what is happening right now, Maya Angelou told us, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. And when somebody writes Project 2025, believe they're going to use it. And they've done it with breakneck speed. But we're here on this night to stand in solidarity, to let him know, to let the Congress know, to let our leaders know that we will give this administration, we will give hate, we will give division, we will give an attack on our poor, on our minorities, on those at the margins, no safe harbor. And we will fight every single day to make sure that we create the America that we want. So folks, the road will not be easy. We will have to fight everywhere, in the streets, and in the halls of Congress, and in our city halls, and in the courts, to protect our freedom, to protect our democracy, and protect justice for everybody. But what tonight demonstrates is that we can still do it. That despite the headwinds, there are groups of Americans all over this country ready to fight. And just like we put him out before, just like we got this divisive agenda out of the halls of power before, we will do it again, and we'll create an America that we all deserve. God bless you, and let's go get to work.
Thank everyone for being here with us as we're getting to the end of our wonderful agenda, but we have to name it. We cannot talk about democracy without talking about reproductive freedom of choice and a violent economy. Jennifer Lawson is the Vice President for Organizing Engagement and Campaigns at Planned Parenthood Federation of America, ensuring that reproductive rights remain a core part of our fight for for democracy and everything beyond it. Let's welcome Jennifer.
I had some hard act to follow, so we're going to try something. We haven't won, so we're not done. We haven't won, so we're not done. We haven't won, so we're not done. All right, hold on to that. Today, the Trump administration. Actually, I need my reading glasses to tell you exactly what he did. Today, the U.S. Department of Justice announced that they were going to reverse course on the Biden administration's Department of Justice, who had filed a lawsuit against Idaho because Idaho passed a ban on abortion. And the way Idaho passed that ban and the way hospitals were interpreting it meant that you could show up to a hospital in Idaho with a miscarriage, with your life in jeopardy, and you would not be able. Sorry, you guys. We love you. You should know my staff would place money on how quickly I would cry. I'll tell them it was like 3 minutes. Great. So the bottom line is, they are letting women die in hospitals. The Biden administration said, no, we're not going to take that. The case went into the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court kicked it back. Now, today, Trump said that's okay. Because it is not okay to be pregnant and show up to a hospital in need and be rejected and told to go out to the parking lot and wait until your life is in danger. And in Idaho, it doesn't even really matter if your life is in danger. It doesn't matter.
Healthcare is healthcare.
Right. So we're not going to take it. We're not going to take the fact that the Trump administration is reversing course on all kinds of reproductive health care decisions. We're not going to take it that the Congress is going to tell us what to do with our bodies and how we have a plan. My name is Jenny Lawson. My pronouns are she, hers. We are going to say those things loud and proud because there are pregnant people and our community is big. Justice has not happened, so we are not done. We have not won. We have not won. We have not won. Thank you.
Again, I want to thank everyone who was here to join us. We're about to finish up with our closing, but I just wanted to name that, tears are not the opposite of progress. They're a showcase of love. And in the face of uniform hate, we have to have love. We have to be militant in our love for each other. No one left behind. Trans rights are black rights, our brown rights, our indigenous rights, and reproductive rights, right? No woman, no man, no she, no he, no her, right? And this is what we have to remember, because when they hit us back to back with EOs, that's to make us feel alone. This is who we're around, even in our house on Twitter, which I be on sometimes, at 2 a.m. seeing what's happening to the world. You remember this space, because this is the space they want you to forget. Isolation and deprivation and a lack of energy is to their benefit and not ours. So I just wanted to name that, because I was feeling a little depressed and I'm feeling a little bit more ready for the fight that's ahead of us. So I'm excited to bring forward our final speaker, who's going to be closing us out, a wonderful mentor at the League of Women Voters, our Chief of Programs, Alma, and no better words to say than your name.
Round of applause for Niall. You are like me right now. My body is tired, but my battery is full now. My heart is full. My hope is vibrating in my soul right now. We need to continue to do this. We need to continue to show up. We need to continue to speak up, because we're not done, right? We're not done. I want to thank everyone who said yes to community, yes to solidarity, this evening. Yes to democracy, both here in DC, in the 79 events around the country, and those we need each and every one of us in this moment. Like Niall said, when you feel tired, when you feel like giving up, remember this moment. We made this night remarkable, all of us together, across the country. We are the true democracy. We are the people. Thank you.